Hello. Welcome to the Tabletop Call-In Show. It is May 23rd, 2021, at, of course, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and I, Adam Bell, and my co-host, Jeremy Gage, are here to talk to you about games and anything about them. We don't care what. Ask us a question, tell us a story, whatever you want to do. I'm Adam Bell. You can find me on Twitter at AdamyBell. You can find my games that I make, because I don't just talk about them, I make them, at adamybell.games. That'll take you to my itch page. There will be more of those at some point. I'll get back on the horse. Jeremy, who are you? Besides just Jeremy.
Hi, everyone. I am Jeremy Gage. You can find me at JeremyGage5 over on Twitter. I am the host of the Draw Your Dice podcast. I am also the co-host here, and I also write games, just none exist in the public eye yet. One day.
They exist in the public heart already. Like, the joy that we are going to get from playing your games is just already in there, waiting to be activated. It's real.
That's very kind of you to say. We'll see what happens.
What have you been up to, Jeremy?
Game writing, making a job for myself.
Ooh.
Working on my first sponsored ad content, or sponsored episode really is what it more is. I didn't really want to do like 30/60 second ads. I don't know. It's not my thing. I'll save that for the goddamn purple mattresses of the world and shit. So what I'm going to do is my Game Flight series.
Purple mattresses.
It's where I pair someone's games with wine and do a tasting of game. And it's happening. Yeah, that's going to be my sponsored content. So looking forward to that. Also working on some actual plays in the background. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about them currently, so I'm not going to. But show running things are also becoming a possibility.
Sweet. Working hard. I'd like to do that at some point.
You work hard? Hardly working.
Just put the time in.
Yeah.
To make it work out.
How about you? You've moved? How's the move going? How's all that?
You know, here's my advice for anybody at home. If you ever are going to move and you think you have like, oh, there's a month to get out of the old apartment, so I could take my time with it, just don't. You don't want to be moving for a month. So, like, just do it. Pretend like you have no time at all, because otherwise you end up like us and then have to go to the apartment where, like, none of your nice stuff is anymore. It's just all your, like, shit. And then you just have to deal with it. So that's how that's going. Otherwise, it's been nice here when we don't have to think about that. Trying to think of what's going on.
What are you looking forward to? What's the future hold? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Lord, I've never been asked that question. I'm not convinced that's a real question people ask at job interviews. But
it's not.
I don't fucking know. Doing something fun, I hope. Not struggling at a job that I am quitting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hopefully I don't have to go back to it. That kind of thing. Hopefully by then I've been trying to train my YouTube algorithm to just show me weird sports. So hopefully by then it'll just be weird sports on my algorithm. That's my 5-year plan.
Can you give me a weird sports example?
I've been watching a decent amount of World Chase Tag, which is like 1v1 parkour tag in a little square. It's very good. I like it. Today I got given a German like game show that is also tag, but like every little video, like 20-minute video, is just a different rule set for tag. It's called Catch. Look up Catch on YouTube. And if they're speaking German and running after each other, then that'll do it.
Ali is a winner. Hi, MB. Hi, Dan Phipps.
Yeah. How's everybody else doing?
Hi, Taylor.
Oh yeah, the Marble League, that was definitely one for a while into it. I'm trying to think of what else. It tried to show me some wiffle ball. There are some wiffle ball leagues on YouTube. It wasn't as entertaining. I
Hey,
don't know if there were
Max.
any other ones.
Well, welcome to the stream, everybody.
Yeah, if anybody's got weird sports in the chat that they want to tell me about, let me know because that's what I'm into. I wouldn't call it weird sports, but I have watched some like Australian rules football, and that's a pretty good one. I forget all the rules. I like had to learn it while watching it. It's like played on a big circular field. It's a whole
Ooh,
thing.
circle fields. I'm trying to do circles.
Yeah.
When I on the subject of moving, see, this is how my brain works. On the subject of moving, here's the type of person I am. It'll be 2 weeks until move date, and we will be fully packed.
Wow, that sounds incredible.
I'm You don't get away with not packing when you live with Jeremy Gage.
Well, so I think I start packing in my head then, but then I'm like, well, I'm gonna use this stuff in the next 2 weeks. Like I don't want to pack up anything I use, but I don't really have that much stuff that I don't use. So it'll be like, oh, I can't pack the kitchen until like day of because I'm gonna cook. Yeah.
Nope. We have the
Uh-huh.
kitchen packed 3 days prior, and we just plan out meals and meal prep.
See, that's some bullshit.
Excuse me. It's called organization.
I don't have it. Yeah, I'm not. We're different.
We're built different.
Your way is better. I will happily admit it. I'm just incapable of it.
No, that's not true.
It is. Unfortunately, it is true.
Let's see if we
So I'm
can.
thinking
We have some Twitter questions that still have been unanswered
that's true from a long time ago.
from a long time
Long
ago.
time ago. Is it just the Aaron Lim asking what our favorite oil for cooking with is for drizzling over food?
It's both that and Jeff Stormer's question.
Okay. Well, what is your favorite oil for cooking with or drizzling over food?
Just a standard olive oil. Well, actually, those are sort of different things. I use standard olive oil to cook for food. Sometimes avocado oil is cool because it doesn't have a lot of like um, saturated fats, or excuse me, trans fats. No, saturated fats. I was right. And then I like sesame oil to put over. This question comes from Aaron Lim, just so that's stated clearly. Um, but yeah, sesame oil for like rice bowls and things. Love it.
Yeah. I like to cook with anything that has a high smoke point because I am still living in the hell of having the spiral electric stove. I can't seem to get away from it in this godforsaken city. And so it's difficult to control temperature. So if I use something a little more delicate, like an olive oil, to cook with, I might go ahead and burn it, and then my food tastes bad.
I feel
So
that.
something like a rice bran oil, pretty high smoke point. Yeah, anything high. But then, yeah, for drizzling, olive oil, sesame oil. That's the move, for
That's
sure.
that's the juice.
Also,
The
which
oil
tabletop
juice.
game is the tastiest, and how would you prepare it? We've been set up with the oil question to get us in the mind for food.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, what is happening
I
today?
think,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
a child of Phipps is
Yeah.
typing in the chat.
Child Phipps, Laurie Phipps. Um, which tabletop game is the tastiest, and how would you prepare it for consumption? Tasty. Uh, oh, what a question. I would say that Blood Under the Clock Tower is the tastiest game for me right now. It just tastes good, and
It's just because you really want to play it right now.
I want to play it all the time. And I would prepare it by setting candles and drinks and really turning it into like just a hosted
Oh,
event That's how I would prepare the game. I would bring murder mystery like dinner party to Blood Under the Clock Tower.
I, I want that. Bring that to me.
I would like one of those, please.
I will run the game in exchange for a catered meal.
Good evening.
The real version of that, they finally have like a release date. It's the end of November because it's not actually out. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know
It's
that.
it's one of these. They kickstarted it, and it's actually kind of hard to make a big ass board game, so it's taken a little while. But they had the benefit of like nobody could play that in person for the last year anyway, so who could be mad?
Not me.
I'm trying to think of a tasty tabletop game. I still haven't figured out where I'm putting my like RPG books and zines, so I can't like look at them for inspiration for questions like this.
Just what game is like palpably in your mouth?
I'm thinking I'm gonna go a board game and say the game Scoville, because Scoville comes with a bunch of little wooden peppers, and so I would dice some of the peppers. I would make a hot sauce out of some of them. I would make a chili out of some other ones because there's a lot of peppers in this game. I would probably just leave the ghost peppers to the side. I don't really want to mess with that. I don't have the proper gloves. And yeah, there we go. Tastiest tabletop game.
Chili preparation. Before we get MV in here, I just want to answer. We have a chat question from, I believe it's Violet. I just want to read the question out loud for everyone. Jinkaka asks, I okay jam as a and kwapikohewe owekwa fit quiple quitre to I qincishism. Violet, I think that what we're looking at here is basically how it works is that when submarines dive underwater, they have a buoyancy tool that allows them to stay submerged by capturing air. I hope that answers your question.
It's called a periscope also. I know you were trying to find the word.
No, that's not what I was trying.
No, not you.
Oh,
Violet
yeah.
didn't ask you the question. Yeah, it's a periscope.
I thought you were
The
talking
little
to me.
binocular thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's drag MV up. First caller of the day. Maybe only caller. Let's see. Hello?
Bonjour.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yes, very nice.
You're live on the Tabletop Call-In Show.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Long time listener, long time caller, long time fan, long time lover.
Wow.
A lot of things.
All of those are correct.
I'm just calling in because sports. I think
Great.
we should turn to that topic. Like, what's the deal with sports? Nobody can explain this to me. Sports are games,
Yeah.
but like in tabletop, for some reason, sports like just don't work. And I've only rarely seen games that do sports really well. I think on my mind there's a recent one called Grid Beef, which is a motorsports game essentially. You play drivers and you race around a racetrack. Pretty good. And yeah.
Hang on. If you can hear me, which I know the chat can, I cannot hear anything.
I can hear you.
I can also hear
We're
Adam.
having an issue. Okay, you're back.
I'm back.
You
We're
said
back in
grid.
town.
You said Grid Beef a little bit ago.
Grid Beef, yes.
That's
I think
that's
I'm
where it cut
correct.
off.
That sounds correct.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that that's where it cut
Um,
off. So anything you said afterwards, only Jeremy heard.
oh, okay. So yeah, the grid beef system, basically it's about drivers racing around tracks like motorsports essentially.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like it's not really cheating because there's a really good game. Sports are just numerology, um, which is by Ben Roswell, I'm pretty sure. And that's like a really good game, but it's cheating because there's in tabletop. I think that's like video games do it, real life does it, but tabletop kind of like doesn't do it very well. Um, like, do you have any sports games you like, and maybe you can enlighten me? What's up with that?
So are we talking exclusively like sports? I lost half of it again. Something's going on with my headphones, which is ruining
Oh
everything.
no.
My experience. Uh,
Oh,
I
damn.
will
Like,
I will tag in.
sure.
So I guess the question is, what defines a physical sport game in which you are
Hmm.
getting up and running around, and non-physical sports game, something like game sports like League of Legends or
Hmm.
WoW arenas or something like that,
Yeah.
or card games, which are, Magic tournaments and things of the like. Because those, I mean, loosely they all fit within the Venn diagram of a sport, right? The
Hmm. Yeah,
definition
of
of
course.
sport is an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. So, I guess what I want to solidify is that you're asking, like, how do we get things like soccer or football or something like that into a tabletop role playing? Does it have to be a role playing game, or does it just have to be like a
Uh,
tabletop game?
yeah, let me clarify because, like, of course, you can do sports as like tabletop as a concept because, of
Mhm.
course, Magic exists. Magic
Right.
can be considered a sport. But you also have stuff like Blood Bowl, which is quite
Hmm.
fun,
Hmm.
which is basically American football in the Warhammer universe.
Hmm.
Um, and it does really well. But I'm thinking like RPGs specifically. Um, what if you combine like because in video games and tabletop you can have just competition, but in real life, I think there's more to sports than just competition. There are
Yeah.
also these stories that like are kind of built through randomness.
Hmm.
Uh, so you have like an underdog team winning a championship. That's like a story with its
Yeah.
characters and stuff going on. So, and I think it's like it's prime material for RPGs. That's underused, in my opinion.
There's
Um,
uh there's a I don't think Kevin is listening today. Kevin's not in the viewership, but Kevin, I'm gonna ask Kevin to give me his last name at some point in the very near future so I can stop doing this. But at Nick Nitnack over on Twitter, um, has a game called Nice Kill, which is based on the anime Haikyuu, which is an anime
mhm,
about volleyball sports. And
mhm,
basically, why I bring that up is that, and I think what you're pointing to, MV, is a good distillation of that physical exertion. It's not mostly about the physical exertion in terms of a sport. It's about the sense of camaraderie
mhm,
and teamwork and these heightened um, experiences of competition, right? And not just competition in the sense of like winning or losing, but it's displaying your mastery of the sport or the game, right?
mhm,
Playing your ability to adapt, and it's like this mental flex essentially.
mhm.
So I think there are plenty of games that have executed in bringing that experience to the tabletop space, and I think that if anyone was trying to like make football, the role game. I think it would just be about capturing those peak moments, um, in getting them into a role playing space. That's what I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
is.
I so
Mm-hmm.
to me, sports have two appeals, right? There are two things that like if you're a big fan of the sport, like it's probably because both appeals are hitting. The first is like the nitty gritty of the game itself. This is like a pitcher throwing a ball and the batter swinging, a quarterback throwing, etc. You know, sports shit. That's like actually playing the game in more or less a vacuum, and then the game is over. But then there's like the accumulation of games that comes from professional sports having seasons and then playoffs and all this stuff, and the accumulation is what ends up telling, like, there are just a ton of stories that end up being told or being able to be told from the accumulation of many sports games together.
Mhm.
And so, like, if we're talking specifically like tabletop storytelling games, so in the RPG zone, I would guess that they'd be more interested in that second part and less in the nitty gritty. Because if you're
Yeah.
trying to emulate what it feels like to play football, like play by play, then that's going to take a long time at a table. Like a game of football takes 4 hours, or if it's the other kind of football, it takes 3 hours, 90 minutes of
Well, yeah.
play time, but with the halftime and all of the rigmarole. So if you're trying to emulate that leaves very little time for like those big stories of like the player who at the beginning of the season wasn't doing very well, but then like something happens either in his personal life or in one of the games that like unlocks, and then they go on this big streak of winning, and then you can like look at that, and that tells like a pretty good story. There's a YouTube channel called Secret Base that like goes through a lot of sports stories and tells them in a pretty good way that I would recommend. So I think you would have to pick which one of those in one session of a tabletop game, or you could, I guess, try to do something where like each session you do like you emulate a game of the sport and then deal with the fallout of that,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. But over
No,
the
that sounds
course of
really
like a
cool.
long campaign.
Yeah. I'm just reading the chat, and they've come to the conclusion that uh, trad RPG combat is basically what we were talking about. Like it's it's this nitty gritty sport, and like stories revolve around the like combat as sport, which is like as distilled version of sport. Yes, like that's basically true. Um, but it's interesting to me because I've recently released Breakneck, which takes pod racing, which is a fictional sport, and makes it like a role playing experience. Um, and I've I've made it more on the like sports are just numerology side of
Mhm.
just taking like just the big picture, not the nitty gritty parts of it. Um, and yeah, I think like big picture stuff is definitely like it's definitely not. I'm not trying to say it's easy to do, but it's like
It's
this
where
is
the
what
story
RPGs are.
is. It's like
Yeah, this is where RPGs are good at. Yeah, this is where the story is. So like it seems more natural for RPGs to like get this area.
right.
And on the opposite side of the scale, like just simulation, like just having like all of it being nitty gritty, that also kind of works. But I'm thinking of a good mesh between the two,
Torque.
um, which is not trad RPG combat. Um, like what? Okay, I'm like lost in my own thoughts now. What is the um, like? Why can we distill? Why is it fun to like play sports, but also why is it maybe fun to watch sports? And
Mhm.
maybe we approach RPGs from a like a viewer standpoint.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm sitting on the grandstands, and like well, I haven't been to a match like in a long time. But like maybe like having that be an experience, like everyone's just like a fan of a team, or you have that could be a cool like uh, two-player storytelling game. You're like a fan of one team, and the other person is the fan of the other team, and you kind of have to, I don't know, communicate or do something with that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
like some
thinking,
there's like some
mhm,
upkeep between turns that like advances the state of the game that you're watching.
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Could be pretty fun.
So like, yeah, taking these parts, I'm also thinking, um, in broadcasting, um, I don't know which sports do this more or less, but like you have the role of a director, but like live director, and they have to focus on different like parts of the game at different moments. And I'm thinking that could be a cool mechanic to sort of see in RPGs, sort of putting spotlight on different areas of the game. Like if you have, um, I don't know, if it's a GM-less game, you have like four players, three of them are in the role of the sort of match, and another player sort of has to spotlight, okay, what do we see in this moment? And someone has to answer, what do we see in this part of the field? And like, um, yeah, this could be also cool. I'm just saying that sports have a lot of like gamey things that I don't like. We don't see much, I think.
Yeah, there's a potential to like use a sport like a one session of a sport as like a metaphor for a different story also
Hmm.
there like the mechanics, the resolution mechanics of your game could be just like baseball.
Yeah,
And
and
like
that's what the chat.
if the player gets a hit in there, then you're telling this like other story that is like
Mm-hmm.
you roll dice or something to see if the player gets a hit, or maybe you're, I think somebody said in the chat, if you're like watching sports as the core mechanic for a randomizer,
Yeah, yeah,
if
exactly.
if
That's
the
very
player hits,
interesting.
like then that will be
And
something in your
that's
story.
also that's almost like fantasy sports,
Yeah.
but like, but you can have it like more story focused, and you can do season long games that could be actually like interesting to see how that could pan out.
Mhm.
In
Um,
in the anime haiku that I brought up earlier, because you're mentioning this fan sort of position of play, there's actually a really interesting match that happens between the protagonist team that we watched throughout the series and one of like the last teams they play against. And the fans bring their own like symphony band and they use the band to like fuck with the protagonist team because they are not used to playing with such a loud stadium because it's like during one of their professional tournaments or something like that. But basically, what the band is doing in the anime is that they're controlling the tempo, like what the feeling of tempo for the protagonist team. So they're fucking up all their serves because they're hitting too early, or they're not noticing when the whistle's going off for their serve. A bunch of different stuff, and it isn't until their own home team band comes in that they start to like are able to recoup against that stuff. So I was just thinking about all these different like you could have a game where you're the announcer, you could have a game
mhm.
where you are the bandstand, and like you could have like a hope mechanic or something like that. Like you're hoping for
Yeah, yeah.
the player to hit a home run, right? And you give them like plus, like you give your team +2 to the roll or something really
Hmm.
abstract. But there's all those different points of contention too. And then you could also do like narrative play. Like you could really like do a drama series of a sports team. And like there was someone who mentioned like a hex crawl version where each hex is a game in the season,
Hmm.
and you can do like a board where there's different like key events that have to happen, or like almost like environment hazards, like enemy team home turf, they have bonuses to all of their rolls or something like that. Or
Hmm.
you lose a player, something, something, right? Like, and you're trying to see if you could have this underdog story happen over the course of this hex crawl.
Yeah, this is very cool. I'm also thinking now about like rondo mechanics because that's like almost perfect. You could have a circle with a bunch of moves, or just like the time of the game, like divide by 2 or 4 like periods or whatever. And you can either like skip and go very quickly over them, or focus on specific parts and like tell a specific part like of this goal or something. So yeah, that could be also very interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely some grasping nettle energy in there.
Yeah, that's
The grasping nettle hack, the sports story.
Hell yeah.
grasping
Grasping
fucking
balls. I'll say it.
There it is.
No, I didn't want to say. That's exactly what I was avoiding.
I'm trying to think of how you could turn paper football into a storytelling experience now.
I mean, yeah.
Ooh, it could be like a 3-card Monty. You set up a couple footballs and they have story beats in them.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, there's like 2 sides to it depending on where it lands when you do the kickoff.
Oh, I remember a really cool thing I saw. It was a Carta RPG hack. Adam, I think you're familiar with Carta.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a system where you put playing cards in like a rectangle, face down, and then you sort of explore these cards one by one, and you sort of get this like almost like a map. And the game was, I need to find out how it's called, but essentially, it was a football game within this like Carta system. So I think you would be a player trying to score a goal, and you would like explore each of these playing cards while you were like trying to get to the goal, and each card would be like, I don't know, like good or bad. It would be some sort of event on your way to scoring that goal, which is like really neat as a mechanic. I might look it up right now.
Live. Looking it up live.
I mean, I think it's only reasonable to
to credit the game
credit
that we're
the
talking about. I don't know.
So yeah, if you have anything, oh, here it is. It's called the 80th minute, by Avery.
Cool.
Seems really neat.
There's also,
yeah, what else?
I don't have much to say about it, but did want to shout out They Came to Play Ball by Adira Slattery.
Yes.
It's like a Firebrands
Yes.
spooky
Thank
sports
you.
game. I just haven't played it, so I don't have, and it's been, how long has it been since that came out? That's probably the last time
A
I
year?
looked at it.
I think a bit less than a year, because I remember it coming out like the same time as Blaze Ball.
Yeah, it's similar.
Remember Blaze Ball?
That was just a tabletop game.
Really was.
Let's
I
be
think
honest.
no, like there
Yes.
was a Blaze Ball like jam, and like so many people came up with so many cool games for that. Like that definitely counts as like sports games. So yeah, I came in like not expecting any sports games, but you see, we remembered so much.
They're out
Nice.
there. There's also, I'm trying to think. I feel like I know some other ones just that I haven't played, so I don't have much to say. But if you're just looking for sports games, I think there's one called Beat the Champs. I forget what I think it's just about beating the champs. I've heard it's fun. There's, I know Austin Ramsey, the designer of Beam Saber, came out with. Fine, I'll look it up. You're right. If you're gonna mention it.
Oh yeah, Beat the Champs.
Did Beat the Champs come up with something?
Yeah, that's not something we can.
The best around is the one that Austin Ramsey made. Which is, I think, also Firebrandsy. Firebrands is like a great.
Firebrands is perfect for sports.
For this, yeah.
Truly.
Especially for like the sports story, like sports anime style, where the sport is important, but the rest of the shit is also maybe more important.
Yeah, because Firebrands is just like a bunch of activities to do, basically, and it just encapsulates that's like sports are more than just the game. Like you also have the game, and it's important, but you have activities like talking to the press or like preparing and
Right.
doing stuff before or talking to your fans. So you have like all of these like peripheral stuff that also contributes to the overall story.
Yeah. Or getting coffee with a
Uh,
rival. You should be able to do
Riley
that.
without a game. Should have that.
Fuck, I want coffee so bad right now.
You want mine? You can have mine.
No, I want a cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
Cappuccino. That's
Hey.
Jeremy Gage's favorite coffee drink, a cappuccino.
That's good to know.
I'm actually not against cappuccinos.
What a follow up.
Is that a surprise? Shit.
Trying to find it.
Oh, worldwide wrestling.
Yeah, very
Oh
good.
yes. How could we forget that?
Because wrestling's the ultimate LARP. Just incredible
That's such
stuff.
a good game. Like
Wrestling's fake.
it's such a good game. Okay, Riley Hopkins put out a game called Extracurriculars, which is
I
about
did see something about that.
it's about volleyball in high school, I guess. It looks like it. It's also Forged in the Dark. So another
like
cool system.
Forge in the Dark feels like it could do sports.
I think Nice Kill is also forged in the dark.
What does it mean?
Nice Kill?
Yeah, no, I mean, sorry. It's
No, Forged in the Dark. What's Forged in the Dark?
Forge in the Dark. Sports volleyball games, they're coming. Nice kill. What was I gonna say? I think it might have been sparked by something. Oh, no, never mind. It's not useful. It's just me complaining in my own head about people that say wrestling is fake. But then we'll watch like a movie, which is also fake. Those with the Avengers aren't really saving the world.
They're not. Don't. Okay.
It's made up.
It's like the person who only watches documentary films.
Right. CSI isn't about real crimes.
I only watch news broadcasts.
Those are fake
That's
too
where the
sometimes.
real shit is.
You know what I'm talking about? You get me?
Well,
Yeah.
I guess.
I'm high fiving. I'm mopping up what you're spilling. You know what I'm saying?
I only look out my
Get up what you're
window.
putting down.
You have strayed too far.
Out my window is the real shit.
Yeah, but outside's not even 4K resolution, so like,
Yeah.
why would I even look there?
I mean, I've seen fake windows. Like,
Oh shit.
I think rich people just buy those to not see the world crumbling. Anyways, on a good note, I'm trying to find good notes. Someone, please.
There's
Please
plenty of
give me
good notes. Sports are good.
Words are pretty good.
On a good note, MV is a fantastic designer.
Oh, what? Who's that?
Yeah. Did you
Oh,
say
who's
why?
that?
Who is that? That's you.
What's that? I've actually like redesigned my website
Yes.
yesterday night and today morning.
Yes.
And it looks pretty good. And I even got like a domain name finally. Finally.
Final.
I
it's
didn't get
about
a
time.
.com. I didn't even get .games, which seems to be pretty popular.
Probably gonna shoot for a .io.
No. .io is only for professionals. I got myself a .info, which I
Oh,
think
that's
is
cool.
it's all right.
mv.info.
Actually not, because MV like you can't apparently you can't have a domain name that's like less than 3 letters.
Wild.
I think like everything less than 3 letters is just like taken forever.
.com.
Oh, that's what you mean. Not that it's not allowed, just
Well-
that it's all scooped up.
I mean, yeah, because it's like
Yeah.
Goopty poopty.
apparently it's very easy to do.
When it's like the 90s and you're one of the weirdos that was scooping up domain names, you may as well grab as many 2-letter ones.
Yeah.
I mean-
It'll mean something to somebody.
I think there are like you got only like what 26 1-letter domains and like not so many two-letter domains. So yeah, MV is taken.
See, not so many. It's like 26 times 26.
That's not that many. Think of how many
That's not that
websites there
many.
are.
Think how many people can scoop up domain names.
That's
Hey, hold on, I'm going to the
676.
permutations calculator live.
676.
Okay, how do we make the domain names a mechanic?
Jeremy doesn't believe me.
Whoops.
You have to find a .com. Like, in order to succeed in your die roll, you have to find a .com that is not claimed.
Oh, that's actually pretty neat. I think.
And the number of dollars that it costs, like the higher dollar amount that it costs, the more
Points you
more
get.
successful you are.
I've seen the names. Oh, Dan just linked me. Okay, thank you very much, I guess.
676.
Like they're the main names that cost like a cajillion, like for no reason. Like I've what was it? Like the website I was buying the main names from, it was like, oh, you can get .art for $200 per year. I'm like, okay.
Jesus.
I'm not that artsy to get .art, so okay. Yeah, that's neat. Do you have any other colors, or
No.
I'm okay to stay?
We have
Seems like we're all
have
just kind of hanging out today.
I hope I'm not overstaying my welcome.
we have 8 additional viewers who could call in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
If you call in, I'll just go away. Oh, someone did.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm not even disappointed, Matt. It's okay.
not yet in the waiting room. Oh, now there is somebody in the waiting room. Hey, we're trying to
Can we
get
all,
through the.
Can we all be here? Just be 4 people on the call.
fight for your right to call.
I'm gonna stay. You can't kick me out.
I mean, I literally can.
No, you don't have the power.
If you're trying to tempt me to do it, I certainly I can.
You will never kick me out. You're too nice, Adam. You can't do it. Okay, I'm scared now.
I was being dared to there, right?
Yeah. This is your show.
That was MV talking. Go to mvmv.info to find out more of their work, or go to May Visit on Twitter. Is that still right? Just go to the website. I'm sure the Twitter will be on there somewhere. We've got another caller in the queue here.
Boo. Boo, boo, boo.
It is Matt Fennell. Matt Fennell? Fennell? Hello.
What up? My name's Matt. I think dogs should be able to vote. No,
I
sorry,
agree.
That's an old. I think that was Monster Factory, back when I used to watch a lot of McElroy stuff. But it just popped into my head when MV was saying like, "Oh, we've got big hang energy," and I was like, "What's the dumbest thing I can say when I log on?" And that was it. So I've been trying to formulate questions.
Yeah.
Well, and the closest that I think I've got. So this is something that I've been thinking about since I listened to Jeremy's episode of the Draw Your Dice podcast.
Draw Your Death podcast. Holy shit.
Ooh, that's a different one. That's a lot. Hang on, maybe we stop and talk about what we think that is.
Yeah.
Is this therapeutic, or is this like just the most metal podcast out there?
I think it's
I think
real.
it's an actual play.
I think they have a special room that you walk into that like does indeed show you your death, and you must. They don't let you out until you draw it in grave detail. It's pretty metal.
What if the way that it works is it's like, Exquisite Corpse, right? Where it's they bring a group of you in and one at a time show you the person at the end of the chain's death, and you have to draw it and then pass it, down the chain. It made sense in my head. I don't know if it made sense when I was explaining.
I get it.
It made sense. It just terrifies me.
Also, Exquisite Corpse. It's already there. The name is already that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Draw your death.
Draw Your Death, the Exquisite Corpse
Coming
podcast.
soon, July
Exquisite
2021.
Corpse actual play podcast.
As soon as we figure out how to make the room that shows people their death. Or their friend's death.
Unrelated or possibly related, right before I logged on, I was on Twitter and someone made a post about the Tom Cruise film Minority Report, which I haven't seen since I was probably like 14, and I remember just being the absolute coolest shit ever. So that might be what I do this afternoon is
go watch
rewatch Minority Report.
Yeah.
You have to let us know
Watch
if it holds
party.
up.
My guess is going to be no,
Yeah, it's
because
probably
it's a
a big
Steven
no.
Spielberg movie from the early 2000s. But
Yeah, and it's just pure cop shit.
but isn't the moral that cops are bad? I don't remember.
Probably in that like wishy-washy
I think
way.
it's like,
where they're...
yeah, institutions are bad.
Yeah.
sort of
That's gotta be what it is. That's safe.
Institutions. You were listening to the Draw Your Dice podcast.
I was listening to the Draw Your Dice podcast, the episode with Gem Room Games, featuring Dan and Collie. Which really good episode, by the way. It was really, I think you said that was the first one where you had 3 people on.
Yes, and there will be
It was
another
a fun
one soon.
dynamic. Yeah, it was a fun dynamic. And one thing that they were talking about that that got the gears in my brain turning was the idea that how do you describe and kind of set up and lay out the mechanics of a game for people who just like, you know, it's may have never played a role-playing game before. There's so much stuff that we just take for granted, you know, like the pipeline of, you know, and I think it's even taken for granted inside of that framework of, well, all books should have a section that says what is an RPG. All books should have the section that talks about the character creation and the mechanics and whatever. And it's this formula that is kind of expected, and the idea of, okay, if we were going to just completely divorce from that, try to describe how to play a game to someone in the most kind of what is the best way to describe it that just gets it straight from my brain to your brain. And I started thinking through a character creation process that was literally just me writing out statements like, okay, I want you to imagine this. I want you to think about this. I want you to...
We are one brain right now.
Yeah, we are. And so I can read you the... Well, part of it is I like to... Sometimes it's fun to be pretentious, you know, like as a joke, but then also like you read it back later and you're like, wow, like maybe this is cool and deep and stuff. But I'm still working on those tic-tac-toe mechanics that I said I was going to put out.
Callback.
And so the string of phrases that I wrote out was because the whole like the setting idea that I had for that game was, okay, you're in college and it's winter and you're in the library and you don't want to study, so instead you're going to steal books and read other people's emails. So then the pipeline for, I guess, character creation that I was thinking of based on this idea of how do we do it completely new was, I want you to imagine that you're sitting at a table in a study hall, picture the people and things around you, close your eyes and listen to how loud or quiet it is. Tell me what it felt like on your walk over here from wherever you left. And then like backstory questions as well and stuff like that. And then the like big pretentious idea I had for the mechanics was now just a blank page that says, now I want you to draw a grid for playing tic-tac-toe. And I had fun with that. So I guess the question is, what is the most fun, like kind of pretentious way you can come up with to describe a mechanic?
Ooh. Okay. I'm being stared at.
Do you want to tag in?
I could try. I will say first, probably as always, I feel like the golden goose of showing people how to play a game without bogging them down with a big book is always going to be For the Queen. The game's perfect at this. Which, I mean, it's a simple game, so it's harder to do with a more complex game, which is then how we start thinking about this. A blank page that says, now draw me a tic-tac-toe board. So what other kind of bullshit can you get up to? I'm trying to think of a mechanic. I don't want to roll dice in this, because if I'm making, unless I'm providing the dice, if I'm making a game that I'm hoping that I'm stopping this assumption that we always make that like at least one person playing the game has played these games and will guide everybody through it and do my work for me as the designer. So no dice, maybe cards, maybe what's something? Now I'm thinking of papercraft.
Oh,
And I'm thinking, let's go back to the paper football thing. It's walking you through how to fold, like what you're going to do with the paper football as it walks you through how to fold it. So like each fold shows you a new rule that you're going to have to learn. So it'll be like, first it's like, oh, just fold this paper in half. And then right there, once you've folded it in half, it says you're making a paper football, fold it in half again. And then it walks you through the little triangle making. I don't know if your average viewer knows how to make a paper football. I'm just going to assume that they do.
I use tape and cheat when I do it.
What?
I just ball it up.
What?
I always was more of the three coin game rather than just the like flicking the paper football through the finger end zones.
Fair. But yeah, so I'm thinking that, and then once you get to the end, the two sides of the triangle are like two little symbols that are used in the game.
Oh, that's really good.
And hopefully you understand the rules because you'll have to unfold it.
If you don't,
start again. What you were, first of all, the first thing is when you were talking about that sort of like designing a college character sort of thing, it had like a lot of Alice's Missing energy for me, like tons.
That's a really good pull. Yeah,
lots of like, maybe you have some like dorm room friends, or like you try to delineate the fraternity experience or whatever. That's not toxic, or maybe it is, and that's like the premise of your version of Alice. But it sounds like an Alice's Missing hack that could be super awesome.
Alice's Missing feels really good because it's like everything in that game feels very serious and big, but also it's small and relatable, and there's a lot of space around it that feels really good. That's I like that.
But on the subject of like basically the onboarding process, where you were talking about like walking the person step by step through creating their character, I've been making this game that's Project Heed the Call. Me and Adam were talking about it a little bit previously, but what I wanted to capture for like character is like for anyone who's listening, you may not be familiar. Matt, I don't know if you're familiar, but have you played Hollow Knight or seen Hollow Knight, or at least seen the opening?
I've played the first world of Hollow Knight like 5 times, and I'm always like, this game's great. I'm going to finish this eventually, and then forget how to play it between the times.
That's the only part you need to have this to make some sort of sense. But basically, when you start up Hollow Knight, or really any of these Metroidvanias, you don't really get to see where they come from. You just get to know that they are here to fuck this area up, right? So in Heed the Call, I've designed character creation to sort of be like a follow along reading kind of thing, where like the GM is saying out loud something like it's like the single page and like big white script or text or something like that against a black page, and it's like, welcome heralds or something to that effect, because the players are always the people who are coming to fuck up the world. But basically what it does is like you've come a long way from places unknown to each of you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like at this point you've prepared yourself for the challenges that lay before you in the valley. How have you prepared? And at that point everyone would pick like their class or their skill set, and then it would continue reading on as you journey down through the valley. You brought a set of tools with you, and like in these Metroidvanias, they don't really have like different weapons. Like the knight only has the nail, and you can upgrade the nail and learn new techniques for it, but the nail never changes. In Metroid Prime, Samus always has her suit. In Castlevania, it's always like the chain and whip are sort of the default things. I guess Castlevania is a little bit more of a like you get different weapons, but the point is like you have this symbolic weapon that that I have you describe, pick tags for. Then it's like you start your first evening by campfire getting to know all of your companions. This is where you would pick all the things for your backstory. So like it what I'm attempting to do is put you into role play as soon as possible, like from the rip. Session 0 is in the book, and it walks you through the whole onboarding process of like making your character. Not just like, hey, everyone go in a vacuum, let's figure out how to be project managers and get ideas. It's the book will help you physically pick these things, and then you go from there. That's why when you were talking about that, I was like, holy shit, one brain.
Very good. Oh, Jeremy, I love listening to you talk about that, because I flash back to all the times that I played 5e with my home group, and I like making. I don't think I like making characters in 5. I always think that I'm gonna like making a character in 5e more than I end up doing it, and I think it's because you've got the way that book is just laid out is you got to keep you're flipping back and forth and back and forth, because the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is in like the first 2 or 3 pages of the book, but then all of the options are you gotta hunt and search for them. And I think that just anything that gets you, spells. We just most of the time don't even play with magic characters when we do it, because I always do it wrong.
I'm cursed to always play a magic character in that horrific game.
Someone's got to be the one who does it.
Just constantly looking at spells and not understanding why anybody would use most of them that aren't just
so true.
Because you always end up just using Eldritch Blast and Fireball. And
what's not set up for you, like if you have any of like the cool ones that are like, oh, you can make something really strange happen, and you know maybe it never comes up except for the one time, but you're not going to have it because the way it makes it this weird resource, you'll just never have the cool ones prepared, and so you never get to see anything fun.
Why would
Plus, so much of that stuff is level gated.
Yeah, absolutely. Why would I not cast Solar Beam over Summon Planar Ally? I just don't understand. I'd rather Solar Beam.
Really good.
It's so good.
That's good. But I really like that idea of just having like something that you're moving through in a straight line and is telling you kind of exactly what you need to do at each step, but is giving you that space to make it your own.
It was an idea from Randy Lubin, whose episode should be coming out in a week, I think. But Randy talks about, for his episode, a lot of like how do we get people playing as soon as possible? Like how do we get people playing the game as soon as they open the book? That's like one of his guiding principles for design. So I really like vibe with that, and I'm like, okay, how can I get like there in the game? There's like a mechanics section prior, so that so you have an idea of like when it comes time to create characters, you'll know why to pick certain things. But aside from that, it's really about like how do I get role play to happen like from the rip
right away.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big thing that I'm gonna try to be shooting for Uneasy Lies the Head 2nd edition, because it's fully boxed. Like it's gonna be all cards, so I'm hoping to try to like get some cool card tech going that like people that don't play role-playing games don't notice that they just have accidentally started playing a role-playing game. They think they're just having fun.
That game was really good at it, just because of the way that it's constantly kind of when we played first edition of that, it felt like it was like the role playing and then the mechanics were feeding back into each other, where it was, I mean, we all kind of set up our characters at the start, and then the way that each scene kind of like pits you against each other, right, where like you're voting and stuff, it made it really easy to say, all right, now I know what the deal is between my character and John's character, and how that all fits together. So I'm excited to see. First of all, I'm always excited for Uneasy Lies the Head, and excited to see what the 2nd edition looks like.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while, I think. So don't get too excited yet.
No. Yeah, look.
But I do appreciate
things that are good.
That's,
take time.
Yeah.
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 Did you guys watch that Army of the Dead?
No.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
It's that new zombie movie on Netflix.
No.
It's the Zack Snyder one. Big Dave is in it.
Oh, Jesus.
Watch the first 10 minutes. It's got, Zack Snyder's whole deal is he has the good slow-mo opening credits. It's a good one.
And then the rest is...
The movie's too long. It's 2.5 hours long. No zombie movie needs to be that long.
Yeah. We
It
get
is.
it. We know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it was too long. Also, there's a wild thing in that movie where it was like they added one actor almost entirely after the fact. It was like Tig. It's either is it Notaro or Notaro? I don't know how to pronounce their last name, but the character that they played replaced someone else. So it was like they filmed all of her bits separately and then CG'd him in. And I was
Great.
always kind of yeah. So it wasn't. There were some parts where it was really noticeable, where it was like shot of Dave Bautista and then shot of this other character and then shot of Dave Bautista. So,
Movie magic.
but it was fun. Yeah, it was. Like I said, probably just the first 15 minutes is good on that one.
Great. Good to know. I mean, that's always a good movie recommendation. Hey, go watch it, but turn it off like quick.
Yeah.
Do you have any movies that you recommend people and say turn it off right before you get to the ending and just imagine what you think the ending is?
No.
Because it will be better.
I've never done that.
Oh, I have one movie
Yeah?
that I recommend like that. Yeah, it's I can't even remember the name of it. It was another Netflix movie. Jason Segel, Mara Rooney, Robert Redford. It's like the movie opens with it has scientifically been proven that there's an afterlife. And then it's like 3 years later, and Jason Segel he goes to this island where there's a clinic run by his dad for people who are like struggling with it, and they've got this machine that they're building. I don't remember most of the beats of the movie, but I remember being really excited when they finally hooked someone up to the machine near the end of the movie, and then just very disappointed by the resolution. So I wrote a recommendation for that one. It was like, turn it off as soon as Jason Segel gets hooked up to the machine. The ending you imagine will be better.
Wow. Just turn it off.
Turn it
I
off.
could see doing Snowpiercer like that too.
I haven't seen Snowpiercer.
Nor have I.
Well, just shut it off when things happen to the train.
Okay, Adam, your turn. Now you've got to recommend one where we turn it off before the ending.
Jurassic World.
I can't remember the ending of Jurassic World. I do. I like the ending of Jurassic World where she
I've
lights
never
the
seen it.
flares.
I was just goofing.
That's the most excited I've ever been in a movie, and I don't even really like that movie that much.
I'm trying to think of
partner-
any movie I've watched.
My partner Grace hates Jurassic World because she has such admiration for Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
She's like, this is a bastard version. I'm like, just let it happen.
That summer
A
when those movies
bastard
came out,
version.
I was convinced that Terminator Genesis was going to be the better movie of those two. I was like, one of these reboots is going to be good. Only one of them can be good. It's going to be Terminator Genesis. It was not.
So much hope.
What the hell movies have I watched?
Do you watch movies, Adam?
Not,
That's the first question.
Not often.
My friend Jared told me today, maybe it's time to admit that you don't like movies anymore. Because every time I watch a movie, I tell him it was too long.
It might be time for you to admit that. It's too long.
The Netflix original series, the new movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be a bummer on this one.
That's okay.
Let's say Toy Story. What the fuck happened?
When are
at
we
the end?
turning it off? Before they get back to the house?
Yeah, they're still out there.
Right after Buzz opened.
Flies.
They're on the truck.
They light the rocket on the back of the car, and then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too long.
Finding Nemo.
Oh no!
Never finds Nemo. Hilarious.
Yeah, just cut it off whenever the tank gets cleaned.
Turn off when they go flying out of the truck. Imagine the ending.
Nemo.
Or when they get caught in the net. Hey, Finding Nemo spoilers for anybody here.
Yeah.
Who hasn't seen Finding
Movie
Nemo?
spoilers.
Finding Nemo's pretty good.
Batman, the Dark Knight.
Oh, that's a good one too. I think
Just-
the ending of that movie is dumb.
Yeah, that's the one where you like, hey, Dark Knight spoilers. It's the one where he like flies away with the big nuke and it's fine, right?
Yeah.
That's Dark Knight Rises, but
Okay.
yeah, that's another good one.
That's the
Dark
one
Knight
with the bad
ends
end.
with him doing the thing with all the cell phones doing the sonar. where it's like the whole thing in this
Oh, yeah.
movie the whole time is it's grounded and gritty and realistic. And
What
then he
if-
does Batman Vision with cell phones.
What if the surveillance state was cool and a billionaire could see everything you were doing and you liked it because he saved the world? Yeah, that's no good.
One grid, one gridiron gang.
You know, he filmed some of that in Pittsburgh,
Oh, really?
I was here for it.
down Heinz Field.
Yep.
This is
Oh, is that the bit where they blow up the
yeah,
Yeah.
the football field.
That's pretty good.
Well,
That movie's okay. That movie's too long. That was the first movie I remember saying this movie is too long.
It's too
Take
long.
it back.
Give me
Right.
30 minutes back.
If I fall asleep after Bane breaks Batman's back, your movie's too long.
Also breaks his back. Let's talk about the recovery. I don't even want. We're gonna spend another half hour here if I just look
Yeah, if
into
we
the
just-
science of how Batman
I don't remember what he
fucking
does.
heals.
Well, he goes to that prison where they do the chant.
yeah, they chant and then he
Um,
crawls out of a hole and his back's cool. I mean, he's got
Doesn't he
It
wear a
doesn't
brace?
make sense.
health insurance.
He invented health insurance, I'm sure. What a charge.
Good shit. Good shit. Do we have anything else here? Or are we just gonna we could keep
Is
just
anyone,
bullshitting
does,
about
is anyone
movies
else?
for a while.
I mean, we can keep talking about movies.
Yeah. We could.
I'm looking. Did anyone watch the new Mortal Kombat?
No.
No.
It looked like cop shit from the trailer. I forget
I don't
why.
think it was. I don't think it was, but it did look like that in the trailer.
I just wanted just give me a Mortal Kombat movie that's just it's just the fights. That's all I want. I don't want
This
a story.
one pretty much was just fights.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Maybe
mean,
I'm
there was a
interested.
story and it was kind of dumb, but I mean, it was a lot of fights.
Yeah, because we all know that the stories like they're not going to figure out a good story for these
You
off
can't.
the wall characters.
Yeah. They yeah, that movie's fun.
All right.
Thumbs up from me on that one.
Give me good trailers.
Ooh,
need
do you guys
better
watch
trailers.
trailers? I always
I've
say I'm not
wa-
going to, but then do.
I've watched trailers.
I stopped watching trailers because they kind of ruined the movie, and then I stopped watching movies because I stopped hearing about them. I think.
Was there any particular movie that or
vicious
trailer
cycle?
that was the breaking point for you?
The breaking point, no. I'm trying to think of one that was bad though. Wow. For some reason, the
Rogue
first one I
One
could think
trailer.
of. Go ahead.
The Rogue One trailer is one that comes to mind for me. But
Hmm.
what was the first one you can think of?
Adventureland.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, well, the trailer makes it seem like it's gonna be this like cute little comedy, but it's just like a sad romantic story about a theme park.
Oh,
And it
that's
just
too bad.
wasn't. Yeah, it's just like wrong expectations. Like maybe if I went in
Yeah.
looking for it, it could have been all right. But I was just like, "Where's the funny bits? I'm here. I was here for the goofs."
I want a good, fun amusement park story. Yeah. Rogue
need
One,
a-
she faces down a TIE fighter in the trailer, and then that doesn't happen in the movie.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, she stands on like a balcony, and it's like a TIE fighter like rises up, and she's like, "What up?" And then that's not in the movie.
That's my imitation of a TIE fighter.
It's a good one. I recognize the sound.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, sounds like we need an offshoot call-in show that's movies directed, starring Matt Fennell.
Where we can just talk about movies and what would have made them better.
Yeah, let's just be negative about other people's shit all day. I'm here for
This
it.
coming from me, I have
Fuck 'em.
definitely called him before to say like, "Oh, I like criticism that's positive. I only like talking about things that I like."
Look, they pour millions of dollars into these fucking things, and they're still
They
bad.
don't count. Yeah. Oh man. Heat. That's another movie that's too long. It's 3 hours long.
I've never. I don't even know. I couldn't
It's
tell you what
good.
Heat is about.
Heat is good. It's about Robert De Niro and
It's about-
and
It's about Robert De
it
Niro.
is. It's about Robert De Niro and the other one who screams, Al Pacino. Al Pacino's a cop, and he's a bad cop. Robert De Niro is a thief, and he's a good thief. And Robert
gonna
De
steal
Niro
it.
is friends. Robert De Niro is friends with Val Kilmer.
pretty
Val
good.
Kilmer's got a ponytail. This is the worst ponytail you've ever seen. And they decide that they're gonna rob something, a bank. They're gonna rob a bank. And Al Pacino's like, "Well, I'm gonna stop them." And then it's 3 hours of them going up against each other. And in the end, Robert De Niro, like 3 times in the movie, tells you exactly what he's gonna do. He says, "This is what I'm gonna do." And then and you're like, he's not gonna do it. And then it gets down to it, and he does it, and you're like, oh my word, he
He
did it.
wouldn't.
He wouldn't.
Face off.
Oh,
So.
shit.
Is anyone else here to save us from?
No. I mean, we are at... I've
We're at
closed...
the hour.
Yeah, we're at time. So we could save ourselves if we wanted to call it here.
You're in charge.
That's true. Envy already dared me to kick them out.
I saw the smile on your face when they were like, "You won't do it." And then you paused and moved your eyes like you were mousing over to click on the button, and then they were gone.
But yeah, that's probably it for the show. Matt, who are you?
Oh, I'm Matt. Oh, I just remembered. This is why I wanted to call in the first place, so I could plug this. Related to movies.
Cool.
Next week, on Saturday, May 29th, in the Brain Trust, we will be doing a live script read of Princess Bride, which is a very good movie. We had a lot of fun doing Pirates of the Caribbean. Adam, did you say you've never seen it?
I've never seen it.
Oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be good. So I will be going through the script probably this afternoon and pulling out like all the list of all the parts so we can start to fill it up. And then we'll just kind of, it's low key. It's just kind of relax. We get on a call and just hang out and read the script. I don't know if Tyler's going to join us and do the stage directions like he did last time, but if not, I'm sure we can get just some good energy going in the chat. So that is going to be next. That's good. It's this coming Saturday, probably between like 2 and 3 p.m. So yeah, everyone should come and hang out for that. It's going to be fun.
Twitch live?
Yeah, it's going to be live.
Yeah.
Wait, is this going to be broadcasting, or do you just mean?
I mean, maybe I can broadcast it. I could probably figure that out. Well,
I'm sure
now
someone
now
would
I've gotta
enjoy
figure
to
it
watch
out.
that VOD later.
Yeah,
for sure.
we got to record it. I think
Yeah.
would be the thing. Like, it would be fun to go back. Like, there's bits from the Pirates one that I wish we could go back to. So I'll figure out a way.
Special for us.
Yeah. All right. I will look forward to that.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
I can offer we don't have to talk about this here, but I can help figure out how to, if you did want to stream it somewhere, I can help
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
for sure.
Yeah. Other than that, we'll talk to you later, Matt, and then we'll close out, and then we'll talk to everybody else later.
All right. Bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Yeah, that's the show. It's called the Tabletop and Movie Call-In Show. We talk about movies that we've barely seen or haven't thought about in years.
And that some of us can only vaguely remember.
You're perfect. It's exactly what people want to hear. I've been Adam Bell. If we go look at my shit, I don't care. You'll like it. But Jeremy's got another podcast to talk about. Always. Right?
Always and forever. Yeah. It's this one, the Tabletop Call-In Show. In addition, I have a sub podcast.
Sub podcast.
Hey, I gotta hype. When I'm on this one, I have to hype this one. I can't hype the other one.
Well, we're in the hype our other shit mode. Couldn't you hear by me saying, look at my games, I don't care?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can find me on the Draw Your Dice podcast interviewing several wonderful guests, many episodes to come. I'm almost at the Magic 52, so I don't know what's going to happen after that. The universe implodes or I keep going. One of those two things happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, listen to the Tabletop Call-In Show.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the Discord servers for things. Twitter, Jeremy Gage 5. Twitter.
Follow on Twitch if you're not already. It helps for something. I'm going to do other things. Earlier this week, I was doing like a little live read of trying to make an audiobook for one of my games. I'm going to do some more shit like that during the week in the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I don't know who.
Nice.
It feels like very few people would want to watch somebody just like reading a game, but like if you want something background noise or something, you know.
It's almost like getting a free version of the game, though. If they listen
Yeah,
to
you
the
could
VOD.
steal it if you just like
Yeah.
screenshot each spread. You
Yeah.
could also just go take a free copy from the itch page, or
Yeah.
I don't think that one's on the Trove, but I'll get it there someday. All right,
I can't.
Jeremy, you're flagging. It seems like sounds like you're about to pass out.
No, I'm fine.
All right, well that's been us. It's been a good one. This is our record for fewest callers but longest calls, which is cool and fun.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Achievements.
Thank you to MV and Matt for filling our lack of other guests. That was wonderful. It's great talking to you. We'll be back next week. I think that'll be our 10th, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to check the numbers.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll see what happens next. Ooh.
Ooh, ah. Ooh.
See ya.